What if you could make chocolate without cocoa?
That was the question floating through my mind after discovering a reference to Linden tree chocolate. Now you can find that whole experiment in my other video, and if you've already seen it, well, this is the curious history of Linden chocolate. When I first learned about this novel quality of the linden tree, it blew my mind. Like, how is this not common knowledge? We're talking about chocolate here, right? There were very few mentions of it online, and the few people that had tried to make it were less than satisfied with the result. But then I found where this all possibly began with a French chemist back in the 1700s. His name was Misa, and he is credited with figuring out how to make a chocolate alternative using the linden fruits. He used the European linden fruits and he, quote, triturated it, mixed it with some of its flowers, and succeeded in procuring a butter perfectly resembling chocolate, having the same taste and giving the same paste as cocoa. That seems like a pretty big discovery to me, and it had me wondering why this didn't have a bigger impact in the world. Two words: politics and money. You see, Misa's discovery happened during a crucial point in history. For one, the French were already exporting cacao from their colonial territories in the Caribbean. Maybe Misa's findings were a threat to the French imperial economy. Also, the Industrial Revolution was starting to take hold, which meant that chocolate was getting easier and easier to produce on a large scale. Misa's discovery might have been a threat to that industry, or maybe it was simply a matter of being late to the party. But you know who didn't have access to chocolate at this time? The Prussians. Frederick the Great, King of Prussia, probably felt like a dope because all of his British and French and Spanish friends had access to chocolate and he didn't. So he somehow learned of Misa's linden chocolate discovery and implored his chemist Marggraf to replicate Misa's findings, which he did successfully. Unfortunately, his linden chocolate had a very poor shelf life, and this hiccup seemed to have stopped the experiment in its tracks. It's interesting to note that the 18th century French botanist Vontana surmised that they might have had more success if they had used the American lindens instead of the European ones. But even to this day, anyone who has tried to make linden chocolate has noted that it just doesn't last very long. The paste quickly denatures and the aroma and taste vanish. Ultimately, I think the groundwork for a chocolate-like product is there, and we have better technology now, so I would love to see more research done on this topic. And who knows, maybe there are other plants out there that also have the same potential.